Hey Dr. Siegel, what's going on? Been playing some of those games and they're kind of fun. Check this out. Quest Atlantis and Spore video games, they're supposed to be fun. You're supposed to have fun with these. You know, it's not only just about going through them and just learning and learning and learning. I mean, you're getting the learning as you go through those games. Let's start with Spore. Spore, it's a pretty cool game. I mean, it's just more toward scientifically inclined, and I love the premise. Speaking of evolution and looking at evolution, I love the graphics. I love spending some time on making my character, and that's one of the things that I really liked about that game. It just gives you the freedom and the independence to create a character on your own, and you can see that character, I guess, grow and go through its adventures. As you go through the game. I'm assuming that's what the premise of the game is about. Quest Atlantis had positives and negatives. One of the negatives was just simply that it's not as entertaining. And I think if a student were to play this game in the classroom or even at home, they would quickly lose interest. It's just that there's just so much going on with that game. In some of the articles that you gave us, I read, where teachers should go, or they need to go through professional development because it's so technical and, so difficult. Well, if a teacher has to go through that, imagine what a student needs to go through. So, it had a lot of drawbacks, and, there wasn't conflict, or there wasn't any fighting or anything like that going on. But the positive is, as a social studies teacher, it really touched on a lot of things that I really teach. The social responsibility aspect, talked about environmentalism, and they had several things on the Holocaust and things of that nature. So Quest Atlantis was a very interesting, very good game from that perspective. But obviously, if we're going to create games, we're going to create games not based off what teachers think, or whether or not we would enjoy it. We really have to look at it from the student's perspective and whether or not they would actually engage in that particular game. So I really think that Quest Atlantis really didn't do that. So there's a gap. There's always that gap between the entertainment games and obviously the educational games. They just have to close the gap a lot more. There were a game that I would like to create. I mean, it had to incorporate a lot of social studies aspects. History and geography would come to mind. That's why I'm in my Indiana Jones get up. Indiana Jones is one of the best movies out there. But with Indiana Jones, it brings a lot of the movies, and honestly with the comic books and the multimedia, the games, and all of that stuff really fires up the imagination. But I also think that it really motivates many students and non-students alike to kind of investigate more into their history. And a lot of students go out there and wonder, all right, so let me take a look at the Lost Ark, or let me take a look at some of the other things that Indiana Jones has been involved in. And that's what video games are supposed to do. So I'd love to create some kind of game. The archaeologist type has already been taken. The treasure hunters have already been taken. So finding some character that would go on a journey and would kind of have students teach them about cultures and history, and obviously the geography, because that always, I'm fond of telling my students that geography comes before history. So it would have to be an adventure game. It would have to incorporate good graphics and a lot of great music, and obviously it would have to be interesting and appealing to the students. So that's my 2 cents for week number 3. So if you haven't seen the Indiana Jones movies, go check it out, Professor Siegel.